Hey. Huh, yes, man. Macha, I'm so bored right now. Can you give me a challenge? You're so bored, huh? Hmm. Can you make this smart? Easy. I can do it. Oh, it's so easy, you say? Hmm. Okay. I want it to look like a T. You mean tea? No. Not the tea which we drink, but the alphabet T. Can you do it? Oh, interesting. I'll do it.
Hello people, I am Vedha and welcome to Very Random Creations. Today we are going to create a smart power adapter. Let's jump right into it now. In this video, first we'll be comparing a regular power adapter to a smart power adapter. Secondly, we will be creating a schematics to make a smart power adapter. Thirdly, we'll make a trial circuit in a breadboard to see if everything works. And finally, we'll make the actual smart power adapter.
Now, let's do a comparison between a regular power adapter and a smart power adapter. In a regular power adapter, the power from the wall outlet is directly given as an output from the adapter, while in a smart power adapter, there is a controller in between the power from the wall outlet and the output from the adapter, and this controller controls the output from the adapter. This controller can be controlled via voice, a smartphone, or a computer. By voice, I mean either through Alexa or Google Assistant. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that it is controlled via internet.
Now let's create a schematics.
First, I'm creating two blocks, one for the input power from the outlet and the other for the output power from the smart power adapter. And in between those, we have a relay. This is basically an electrical switch which can be turned on and off using electricity. To turn the relay on and off, we need an electric trigger, which is done by an ESP32 microcontroller, and this controller requires an input power of 3.3 volts DC. So to power the controller, we would require an AC to DC power converter to convert the 220 volt AC into a 3.3 volt DC. Once powered, this controller is going to be connected to the internet, and there is also going to be a momentary switch connected to it. The controller will be programmed to have the ability to connect to the Wi-Fi, but before that, it needs to have the ability to get the Wi-Fi credentials from the user. And the smart control is going to be done by an IoT platform called Centric Pro. It requires its ID and credentials as well.
Now let's code.
Here, I'm using an AI called Find to help me generate the initial code. As you can see, in the prompt, I am listing all the actions the ESP32 needs to perform, starting with the pins it needs to control, then that it needs to connect to the Wi-Fi, and what to do if the Wi-Fi connection fails, and where to store the credentials, and so on. If you are interested in knowing the prompt, you can find it in the description below. Here, I'm using the same chat to remove the errors, thereby correcting the code.
Many hours later.
Now, let's upload the code to an ESP32 development board. Here, we can use a serial monitor to monitor the functioning of the ESP32. Now, I'm configuring it with the Alexa. So basically, this is the ESP32 development board. I have connected one of its pins to the relay. So basically, one output from the ESP is given as a signal input to the relay. Please note that the relay requires a 5 volt supply, so I have powered it using the 5 volt from this development board. I have also connected one LED here, which helps in indicating whether the supply is there or not. And right now, this device is kept at off. Alexa, turn SPA on.
Okay.
Alexa, turn SPA off.
Okay.
So it works.
If you have stayed this far, I think you might enjoy the content which I create. So a sub to this channel would be great. Think about it. Let's build build it.
To make the smart power adapter, what we need is first an AC to DC power converter module. This is an high-link AC to DC 5V power converter module. Then we would need an ESP32. Then we would need a relay to turn it on and off. This one is rated for 10 amps supply, while this one is AMS 1117 3.3V power converter module. This is used to convert the 5V from the high link to a 3.3V supply, which can be used to power the ESP32. Then to mount this ESP, I am using an adapter plate. And finally, all these components will be soldered onto this perf board. We would also need pins for the plug. Here, I have salvaged this one from a regular power adapter.
Now let's perform the reflow soldering.
To solder the ESP32 to the adapter plate, we need to perform the reflow soldering. To do that, I am using the induction stove technique, where I am going to heat a pan and I am going to use that as a hot plate to do the reflow soldering. I need to apply the solder paste onto this board first. As you can see, I have applied the paste onto the board, and on top of it I have pasted the ESP32 and other components. This solder paste has a melting temperature of 183 degrees Celsius. Usually the reflow soldering follows a heating pattern, but since I don't have a thermocouple, I am just going to wing it. Before all the soldering enthusiast is going to kill me in the comment section, I agree this is not perfect, but I checked the continuity and seems like it's working, so I'm just going to leave it like that.
Let's solder the components.
Later.
Okay, done. As you can see, this is the ESP module, and I have powered it using the AMS 1117. This is the high link AC/DC transformer. The 5V output is stepped down to 3.3V by this AMS 1217. I have added a couple capacitors to reduce the noise, and I have added a pull-up resistor between the switch and the high, so that it is always pulled up at high. And so this is the relay. In this relay, we can see there are like normally open, common and normally closed configuration. I have connected it between the normally closed configuration. The power from the wall outlet is directly soldered onto this board, and that is given as an input to this 5V AC/DC transformer. At the same time, there is another wire which goes from the soldered region onto the normally closed configuration. So basically it powers this transformer, and also it goes to the relay, which can be taken out by the smart power adapter. Similarly, this one is also split into two, where the input from the wall goes and powers the 5V transformer, and also has an output from the smart power adapter. So this is the soldered circuit board.
Let's design an enclosure now.
For the enclosure design, I had something in my mind which I'm sketching right now. I am making a boxy design here, and the overall look is inspired from the alphabet capital T. Don't ask me why, it just felt good for me. So this is going to be the front view and the side view of the complete assembly. The red line is basically the split between the multiple components. It is going to have one base and a cover for the top region, and the cover for the bottom region, which is also going to be the outlet for our smart power adapter. And all those will be assembled something like this. Now let's model it. Here I'm using an open source 3D modeling software called FreeCAD to create the 3D model.
One eternity later.
Well, this is a 3D model. Now we need to export it as a STL file so that we can slice it using a slicer. Here I'm using Cura to slice the components. Here, if I give the build plate addition type as brim, it is showing that it's going to take 18 hours to print everything together. While if I change it to skirt, it's actually 17 hours. We're actually saving 1 hour in terms of time. While having the build plate addition type as brim has resulted for me in having a better build plate addition. Either way, I'm not going to print everything together, I'm going to print in batch wise. This is the first batch of print which is completed. Now the second batch of print is going to get started.
Many hours later.
Okay, so we have got the 3D printed parts. As you can see, this is the top part, and this is going to be the insulator which is going to go inside here. And we have also printed a bunch of buttons. These are the buttons. This is the power on off button, and this is the reset button. And we have a bunch of spaces here. Also, we have the main enclosures. This will go on top of this like this, and this will be sitting inside. Something like this, yeah. Something like this. But there's a tiny catch here. So as you can see, there are some missed layer lines. Yeah, focusing. There are some missed layer lines here. Focus, yeah, some missed layer lines here. And same with this also. We have some missed layer lines here. So what I'm going to do now is basically use this I'm going to use this, and I'm going to fill in these gaps.
One eternity later.
So the items are cured now. Looks like this is okay. This one is also okay. And yeah, this one also looks good. I'm going to use this 320 grit sandpaper first to remove the major bumps, and then I'll later use a 800 grit finer sandpaper to give the final finish. And finally, I'm going to use this black spray to finish this part. And this one is matte black.
Many hours later.
So the painting is done and is also dried. As you can see, the finish came okay, but it's way better than a 3D printed finish. I like this one. This finish looks really good actually. And finally, this one. This looks okay. Here is the spacer and the buttons. Here is the insulator plate. And here is the circuit. Now let's start the assembly process. The order of assembly is the switch goes first, then it is followed by the circuit board, and we have the spacers through which we'll be fixing the circuit board onto this top cover. If you are interested in getting the CAD model of this assembly, please find it in the link provided below. Okay, now let's make it work. First we need to plug it in. As you can see, the indicator light is blinking, which means that it is not yet connected to a Wi-Fi. First we need to connect to the Wi-Fi from this module. Through that we should be able to enter the Wi-Fi credentials which the ESP32 or this Smart Power Adapter needs to connect to. When connecting to the Wi-Fi from this adapter, first we need to disable the mobile network. As you can see, there is a Wi-Fi with the name SPA-32 is available. This is the Wi-Fi from the Smart Power Adapter, and now I am connecting to it. Since there is no network from this adapter, it will ask us do we need to stay connected, for which we need to tell yes or always connect. After connecting to that, we need to get directed to a specific IP address so that we can enter the Wi-Fi credentials. I'm scanning the QR code here, which will also take me to the same IP address. Yeah, here in the SSID and password, we need to enter the Wi-Fi name and password to which the Smart Power Adapter needs to connect to. Once entered, we can just click connect. When the blinking of the indicator LED stops and it holds, that means that it has connected to the Wi-Fi and now the power is on. Now that it is connected to the Wi-Fi, we need to configure it in our Alexa app first. But before configuring it, we can also use our manual button to control the on and off of this Smart Power Adapter. Now we need to configure it in Alexa. For that, first we need to open our Amazon Alexa app. In this, we can first go to the more section, and then here we need to select the skills and games option, and then we need to search for the Synric Pro in this. Then now we need to click enable to use to enable it. Now we need to provide our credentials to log into this to initiate the account linking. Once it is successfully linked, the Alexa will look for device to connect, and this may take up couple minutes to find it. Yep, we can see Aviel in the available device list. We can click on it to get connected to it. Now that it is connected, let's try to turn it on and off using this app. Yes, now let's turn it on again. Turn off. Turn on. Yep, it works. Now let's try the same using Alexa. Alexa, turn Aviel off.
Okay.
Alexa, turn Aviel on.
Okay.
Awesome, it works.
If you are interested in making a similar Smart Power Adapter, I have provided all the details in the link provided below. Check that out. I want to deliver special thanks to 3 people for making this video. First, the music. The music score is basically created by the Kaleido, aka Fazil. I liked it so much and I hope it sat really well with it. You might also enjoy listening to it separately. Check out about him in the link provided below. And secondly, I need to thank Srinath, aka Kali. He was helping me in the electrical parts of it. And thirdly, I want to thank Shanba Karthik. He was the mechanical reviewer of the enclosures which I designed in this. If you have stayed this far, you can probably subscribe to the channel so that you can see more contents like this, and that will also help in motivating me to make more contents like this. Thanks again for watching this long. I'll meet you with another creation next time. Until then, stay creative.
A creation created for creators.